If your ASTRO A50 headset has stopped responding, will not turn on correctly, is not connecting to the base station, or appears to be stuck even though it has battery power, a hardware reset may solve the problem. But before you start, there is one very important detail. There are several generations of the ASTRO A50, and the reset procedure is different on newer models compared with older A50 Gen 3 and Gen 4 headsets. So first, identify which version you have. If you have an older A50 with a dedicated Dolby button and a game and voice balance control on the right ear cup, you are most likely using the reset procedure commonly associated with the A50 Gen 3 or Gen 4. If you have a newer Logitech G A50 or A50 X with a PLAYSYNC button, the reset procedure is different. I will explain both methods. Let's begin with the older ASTRO A50 Gen 3 and Gen 4, since this is the version many people are referring to when they search for an A50 hard reset. First, make sure the headset has some power. If you suspect that the battery is completely empty, connect the headset directly to a reliable USB power source and allow it to charge for around 15 minutes before trying the reset. If possible, connect the charging cable directly to the headset rather than relying on the base station during this troubleshooting step. Now locate the Dolby button on the headset. On these A50 models, it is located on the right side near the power switch and EQ controls. Next, locate the game and voice balance control on the outside of the right ear cup. You need the game side of this control. Make sure the headset power switch is in the ON position. Now press and hold the Dolby button and the game side of the game and voice balance control at the same time. Keep both controls pressed for approximately 15 to 30 seconds. Do not release them too quickly. Holding them for the full period gives the headset enough time to perform the hardware reset. After 15 to 30 seconds, release both controls. The A50 should now restart its internal hardware. If the headset was frozen, you may see the power light respond again, or notice that the headset begins operating normally. Next, place the headset carefully back onto the powered base station. Make sure the charging contacts on the headset line up correctly with the contacts on the base. Watch the indicators on the front of the base station. Give the headset a few seconds to reconnect and synchronize. If the battery indicators appear normally and stop repeatedly flashing, the headset has likely established communication with the base station again. Now, test the headset. Check whether you have game audio, voice chat, microphone operation, and normal volume control. If everything works, the hard reset was successful. Now let's look at the newer Logitech G A50 and A50 X. Do not use the older Dolby button procedure if your headset has the newer PLAYSYNC controls. According to Logitech's current support instructions, start by making sure the base station is connected to power. Then dock the headset on the base station, make sure it is seated correctly, and making contact with the charging connectors. With the headset docked, press and hold the PLAYSYNC button and the game button at the same time. Keep holding both buttons for at least 6 seconds. Watch the battery indicator lights on the front panel of the base station. When those battery indicator lights go out, release both buttons. The hardware reset has now been triggered. Allow the headset and base station a short time to initialize again before testing them. If your A50 still does not work after the reset, there are several additional things worth checking. First, disconnect the base station from USB power for a short period and then reconnect it. Try another USB port on your PC or console if one is available. Also, check that the headset is sitting correctly on the charging contacts. A headset that is slightly misaligned can sometimes appear to have a charging or synchronization problem. For older A50 models, you can also connect the headset and base station to a computer and check them using ASTRO Command Center when appropriate for your generation. If the software recognizes the headset, check whether a firmware update is available or whether the headset and base station are reporting different firmware versions. Do not disconnect the headset or base station while a firmware update is actually being installed. It is also important to understand what this hardware reset does. This procedure is primarily intended to restart an A50 that has become unresponsive. It should not be confused with a traditional factory reset on a phone or computer where all personal data is necessarily erased. So you should not assume that all of your EQ settings and other configuration will automatically disappear after performing the hardware reset. If the headset remains completely unresponsive, even after charging it, performing the correct reset procedure, reconnecting the base station, and checking the USB connection, there may be a firmware, battery, charging, or hardware problem that requires further troubleshooting. So remember the key difference. For older ASTRO A50 Gen 3 and Gen 4 headsets, hold the Dolby button and the game side of the game and voice balance control for approximately 15 to 30 seconds. For newer Logitech G A50 and A50 X models, dock the headset on the powered base station and hold PLAYSYNC and GAME for at least 6 seconds, releasing them when the battery indicator lights go out. Using the correct procedure for your specific A50 generation is the most important part of performing a successful hard reset.